When you think about a school textbook, what comes to mind? Probably facts, figures, maybe some boring homework. But what if I told you there's something else inside? A hidden blueprint, a guide that's not just about teaching a kid what to know, but who to be.
I mean, it's a huge question, right? How do you actually teach a young person their place in the world, their history, their identity, all of it? It's one of the biggest, most important jobs any society has. So to get some answers, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to dive into one very specific book, a 7th grade Tamil language textbook from Tamil Nadu in India. We're going to peel back the layers and see exactly how this book tries to answer that massive question for a 12-year-old kid. And what's wild is that before you even get to lesson 1, the book straight up tells you its mission. The first few pages, they lay out this incredibly deep, really profound idea of what education is all about. Just listen to this line from the preface. It says so much. It makes it clear this isn't about cramming for tests. Nope. It frames education as the beginning of a dream, the foundation for a whole life. I mean, that's a seriously aspirational goal, right? And this vision gets broken down into 4 really clear goals. First, get kids to move away from just memorizing stuff and towards actually creating. Second, build up a real sense of pride in Tamil history and culture. Third, make sure they're ready for the modern world, with science and tech. And this last one, this is my favorite part. It wants to turn exams from something you dread into a moment that actually confirms the joy of learning. Wow, that's a whole educational philosophy packed into just a few sentences. Okay, so how does the book actually start building this identity? Well, it doesn't waste any time. It starts right at the very beginning. And it does it in 3 very specific, very deliberate layers. Layer 1. Before you even see a single lesson, there's the Indian national anthem. The message couldn't be clearer. Your story starts here. You are part of this huge, diverse nation called India. Think of it as the widest possible zoom lens. Then, on the very next page, the lens zooms in. We get the Tamil Thai Valsdu, which is the state anthem praising Mother Tamil. So right after establishing that big national identity, it immediately brings it home, grounding the student in their specific region, their specific language. You're Indian and you're Tamil. Both are important. And finally, Layer 3 defines your role in all this. It's the national pledge. This is where it shifts from geography and culture to your duty as a citizen. India is my country. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. I mean, think about that. In just 3 pages, before any real learning has started, the book has built this entire framework. You're a citizen of a nation, you're a member of a state, and you have a promise to uphold. Okay, so with that foundation firmly in place, now the book dives into its main subject, the Tamil language. But here's the thing, it's not just about teaching grammar and vocabulary. Oh no, it's about instilling this deep, almost spiritual respect for the language itself. This line from one of the first poems in the book, it just says it all. It describes Tamil as a honeyed tongue that inspires love and virtue and banishes fear. You see what it's doing? It's saying the language isn't just a way to talk, it's a moral force, something that literally shapes your character, makes you a better person, and even makes you brave. And the very next poem just doubles down on this idea of abundance. It's called Ondrala Irandala, which basically means it's not just one thing or 2 things. The whole point is that the wonders of the Tamil heritage are countless. We're talking everything from the honey and the grains of the land itself to these incredible literary treasures, and a history packed with stories of legendary generosity. Then the book gets into the nuts and bolts of the language. But even this part is fascinating. It explains that Tamil isn't just one thing. It actually has 2 different forms. You've got spoken Tamil, which the book calls the lifeblood. It's fluid, emotional, the stuff of everyday conversation. And then you have written Tamil, which is way more structured, more formal. It's built to last. And this is a really key concept. Linguists have a fancy term for this, diglossia. But the textbook just makes it super clear for the kids. They're learning from a young age that the way you talk with your family is different from the way you write an essay. And crucially, that both are totally valid and important parts of being a Tamil speaker. The book calls it world usage versus literary usage. So a theme you see again and again is how the book tethers language and identity to the actual physical land. These lessons aren't just abstract ideas floating in space. No, they are rooted in the forests, the animals, and the deep history of the region. You can see this so beautifully in a poem called Kadu, which means forest. It has this amazing line that compares the flowers blooming all over the forest to the thousands of lamps people light for the Karthagai festival. In just one image, you've got nature, culture, and beauty all woven together. It's brilliant.
And history is taught in the exact same way, through stories tied to the land. The book is full of tales about these ancient patrons who were known for their almost unbelievable generosity. I mean, get this, there's a story about a king named Palapari who gave his own royal chariot to a jasmine vine because it needed something to climb on. And another about a leader named Kamanen who, while in exile, literally offered his own head to a poet so the poet could collect a reward. These aren't just history lessons. They're teaching generosity as a fundamental part of their heritage.
But it's not all poetry and history. The connection to nature is scientific too. Students are learning real, practical ecology. Like, did you know elephant herds are led by females? Or that a bear's favorite food is termites? And that seeing a tiger actually means the whole forest is healthy? This is the kind of knowledge that roots you not just in your culture, but in your literal, physical environment.
So let's step back for a second. When you put all of these pieces together, the anthems, the poetry, the history lessons, the science, a really clear picture starts to form. You realize this textbook isn't random. It's following a very deliberate blueprint.
This is the world that the textbook is actively building inside a student's mind. It's a world where you are fiercely proud of your ancient language, a world where you feel a deep personal connection to your local environment, where you understand your identity has layers, you're Tamil, you're Indian, and you're a citizen, all at once. And it's a world where values like virtue and generosity aren't just nice ideas. They're presented as historical fact.
So at the end of the day, this book does so much more than just teach a language. It literally builds a world for a child. It hands them a complete story about who they are, where they come from, and what's truly important in life.
And that really makes you think, doesn't it? Because every single one of us had books like this, books that were designed to shape us in some way. So it leaves you with a really big question to ponder. What kind of world did your textbooks build for you?